We have been busy setting up this area of our farm to get ready to rotationally graze our cattle through cover crops that we planted last fall. So this blend is some rye, crimson clover, and then hairy vetch, and it made the most beautiful cover crop over this portion of the farm. And it's also been really beneficial to the soil. So as we're trying to rebuild the soil on these fields, we're using cover crops as a way to naturally give the soil what it needs, but also create more forage for our cattle to graze. But in order for us to graze out here, there's a lot of setup that needs to be done. So this area of the farm is currently in annuals, so we're planting new things here every season as a way to work on the soil, like I mentioned, and a way to feed our cattle herd until we can get permanent perennial pastures out here. And because we don't have it set up in perennial pastures yet, we also don't have the fencing and water infrastructure on this portion of the farm. So that is why we are rolling out water line and setting up fence. We're going around right now and sectioning off each paddock to be about 2 acres. We have found that just using water line above ground and putting in the right fittings at each paddock so that we can easily hook up a water tank, using this pally wire and step-in post, and then a portable electric fence charger really makes for an easy temporary setup that's going to work really well for us to graze our cattle out here through the summer months. I think one of my favorite things about grazing cattle this way is how excited they get when they realize we are taking them to fresh grass. So they got really excited to come out here once they saw what all they are going to be able to graze on. They will be out here for about the next 3 weeks, and we will come out every day and move them to a new section so that they can utilize as much of this grass as possible. And also they get the best of it. So we really expect them to do really well out here and be really happy for the next couple weeks before we go on with our rotational grazing system on the other section of the farm. I put a lot of effort into cooking healthy meals, maintaining a wholesome lifestyle, and just making sure that I am staying healthy, which is why I'm excited to partner with Function Health for this week's video. Function Health is a proactive health membership designed to give you control over your health through diagnostic blood testing, personalized health insights, and telehealth support. I just scheduled my first round of blood work, which will test over 100 biomarkers from heart to hormones, toxins, inflammation, and stress. So this is an enhanced view of what is actually happening inside of my body. Function Health gives you access to the kind of data that most people will never see and the insights to take action about it. That's why top health leaders are all behind Function Health. All results are tracked over time in one secure place so you can see how your health evolves. All of this testing could cost you over $10,000 if you did each of them on your own. You can get all of this through your yearly membership for just $365 per year. Lab visits are fast and convenient with over 2,000 locations across the US. Function Health is for everyone who wants to take ownership of their health. I can make sure that I'm not not neglecting anything by getting tested and then actually seeing what's going on inside of my body through those test results. You can follow the link in my description or the QR code on the screen to learn more about Function Health and receive a $25 credit towards your first year. Thanks so much to Function Health for sponsoring this week's video. On these really busy spring days, I try to make it a habit to prep a little bit of dinner during the day, make sure that I have some meat thawing so that way our evenings just go quicker. For tonight, I have some ribeyes thawing in the sink. Steak is such an easy meal for us that we rely on a lot in the summertime because we can just grill them so quickly. I'm also making some cheesy potatoes right now during nap time. This will be something I can easily pop in the oven and it will go so well with our steak and serve it with some fresh salad greens. We are eagerly waiting for fresh vegetables to roll in from the garden. Our potatoes are looking so good this year, so we're hoping for a good potato harvest that's going to stock us well through the winter months. As always, one of my big goals is to try to cook using as many farm fresh ingredients as possible. That for me just really makes cooking from scratch so much more fun. And as I go about prepping dinner tonight, I am going to share with you guys some of our big goals here on the farm and the reason behind it. I got an email the other day from Homestead Living Weekly, which is a blog that I follow. And the opening line said, "The care of the earth is our most ancient and most worthy, and after all, our most pleasing responsibility. To cherish what remains of it and to foster its renewal is our only hope." That was the opening quote of the email, and it intrigued me to go on and read the rest of it. And this email really resonated with what our goals are here and our why behind everything that we're doing on our farm. It said, "Stewardship isn't just about having the most productive homestead or the most efficient systems. It's about learning how to work with nature and about being willing to invest, whether time, energy, money, or all three, in the land and resources in our care. It's about making choices that don't just benefit you, but that benefit the broader ecosystem as well." So the email went on to explain what it means to be good stewards of the land and resources of the life that we're building. So it gave some practical action and thoughtful consideration. I went on to read all of it. It really helped put into perspective all the hard work and effort that we're putting into our farm. It really made it feel like we're doing the right things. Some days when there's just so much work to be done, it can be hard to remember the bigger picture. But truly, this is a love thing for the land, for the animals, and it's worth it to us to put in that extra effort to try to do things right and to make our farm better for the future. That is certainly our main goal, and we don't ever want to lose sight of that. I'm out here moving the cows again this morning. This has become a daily chore for me as we're rotating them around on this section. So in order to do that, the first thing I do is move their portable water. My husband made me this really nice little siphoning system so that way I can drain the tank enough to flip it and load it to the next section. We also made our mineral feeder nice and portable by putting it on an old semi-tire. Then I can easily move it around with the cattle herd. The more that we do all of this rotational grazing, the more we learn how to simplify these tasks. And the more we simplify it, the more all of this becomes really enjoyable because this system really does just work. It's not all that hard. I don't even consider this much of a chore once we have everything set up. It's actually quite nice to come out every day and see the cows just really enjoying life and their body conditioning from winter getting better every day. I notice it. Their hair is getting slicker, they're gaining weight, and they're just overall looking healthier. And I love to see all that, and it makes this whole system just work and really enjoyable. The next project that I have this week is getting ready for our pigs to come. So this will be actually the 5th year that we raised pigs on our farm. And the reason we decided to add pigs into the mix is because they can offer a lot of benefits to the farm ecosystem if they're managed properly. Pigs can also be very destructive if you don't manage them properly. And they're a little bit harder, but now that we're 5 years into this, I feel like we've got it pretty much figured out. One of those things that we do is move where we keep them every year. So as you can see, last year, we just took down the pen and left all the panels. They all grew up in the weeds. So now this week before our pigs come, I need to get this new pen set up. I finally decided to just hook the panels up and drag them out of the weeds, try to make my life a little bit easier. As with the cattle, the pigs also need to be very portable. So I'm doing the cattle panels, getting it all laid out. Then on the inside, I will put electric wire around the bottom. And this is how we will train them to electric fence. So training the pigs to electric fence is very important to this whole operation. They train to electric fence differently than cattle. They need to see a permanent fence behind the wire and then learn about the electric fence on the inside. If we did not train the pigs to electric fence, getting them and moving them around all summer would be nearly impossible. So this is what we call the training pen. We're going to get it all set up. They'll probably need to spend about 2 weeks in this little area learning how to respect electric wire, and then we will move them on throughout our wooded areas on the farm and let them munch through really good greenery down in the shade. It's just a great way to raise a pig. I chipped away at this pen a little bit throughout the week, so I got all my materials out there one day, got the panel set up the next, and now I'm going to put the wire on the inside of the pen. We're not getting the pigs until later on in the week. My husband's going to take off work for a morning and run down and grab them, so I'm just getting all set up throughout the week. We get pigs from the same farmer every year, and then we raise them throughout the summertime for harvest in the fall. We sell them to local customers in half and whole hog portions. We wanted to be able to offer our customers pork as well, and we've been wanting to work on some wooded areas of the farm, allowing the pigs to go down into the wooded area. They really root around down there and they stir up a lot of things that are in the seed bed. So we've noticed where we've ran pigs in the past, our woods have grown up with a lot more forage and greenery. But as I mentioned with the pigs, if you keep them in one area for too long, they go from being productive to very destructive very quickly. So as soon as they're trained and adapted to being outside, we're going to get them down into the woods so they can get to work for the summer. This is a very enjoyable life for a pig. They have all they can possibly want to root through and a lot of good shade to give them good coverage throughout the summer months. Most pigs are raised in a building on concrete, including these pigs that we are purchasing this week. Before I raised my first batch of pastured pigs, I read a book written by Joel Salatin all about raising pastured pork, and one of the things that he quotes in the book is you have to let a pig be a pig. So he says the pigness of a pig. Naturally, a pig is going to root stuff up, and that's what got them in trouble and made it to where most farmers raise them inside on concrete, is because that rooting can be very destructive. But when raised properly outside and moved around, the rooting is actually very beneficial for the farm, and it allows the pig to really truly be a pig and enjoy what God created them to do. He talks about all that in his book, and honestly, that's kind of the why behind raising pigs, is not not only do I believe raising them this way is healthier for our customers to eat, but also I just truly believe it's a much better life for the pigs.
If you want to go on and feed the bulls or whatever.
As you may have noticed, the goal on our farm is getting animals outside and moving around. So now it is time to get the meat chicks out of our brooder and onto pasture. We keep them inside at a controlled temperature for about 2 to 3 weeks, but once they are big enough, we get them outside into these chicken tractors and move them forward to fresh grass every day. Almost every time I share these chicken tractors, somebody will comment how there's way too many of them or they're way too crowded in one tractor. But I want to put that into perspective for you. These tractors offer so much more space per chicken than a chicken that would be raised in a factory ever would get. So these chicken tractors are 10 by 12 feet, so they're 120 square feet. And we put 75 birds in each tractor. Now, this tractor moves forward to new grass every day, and they're gonna be out here for about 5 weeks. So in total, if you take it every day, a new 120 square foot space, each of these chickens get about 90 square foot of space on fresh pasture throughout their life. Compare that to a meat bird that's raised in a factory that only get about 1 square foot of floor space per bird. So these tractors are a very efficient way to raise chickens on pasture. Obviously, there are a lot of predators that can harm chickens, so keeping them in these tractors is so important. But having chickens out on pasture like this is so beneficial. Again, not only does it produce healthier meat for our customers, but these chicken tractors do so much good to our pastures. The natural fertilizer that comes behind these chickens is just phenomenal. We have seen great benefits year after year of raising meat birds like this, and we are excited to have them out on pasture again this summer. As always, thank you so much for watching and following along for another week on our farm.